Hello and welcome to our India special episode of Path to Uni, part of the Southampton Sessions podcast series. I'm Shania and today we're talking all about studying at the University of Southampton from the perspective of students from India. We are here in Southampton and this session is all about living in the UK, what studying at Southampton is like, the university, the campus, the student life, and how Southampton sets you up for your future. Joining me today is Anusha, a BSc Marketing student, and Adit, Southampton Marketing alumni, and now Marketing and Strategy Manager at Simply Jaspers Limited. From the university, Regional Head of International Recruitment Tom will be joining us to give the official university facts. We will be sharing practical advice, real experiences, and information on what studying in Southampton could be like for you. So let's start with an overview on the University of Southampton. Why did you choose it and why did you choose to study here?
I was keen on staying close to London because I want to have a marketing career and I've heard London has great opportunities. And I stand by it still, whilst I still didn't want to endure the London expenses. Southampton gave me like a good mix. It wasn't as overwhelming as London, but not as tiny as, let's say, Bath. So it was a good mix for me. At that time, I think marketing was ranked top 5. So it ticked all the boxes. That's why.
It was, to add on to it, like she said, marketing department at the university was, I think, in the top 5 or 6 something. So even for me, I am a marketing professional now and I live in London. And I think you want to get where I am right now. And
I absolutely do.
I wish you all the best for it.
Yeah.
I chose Southampton mainly because of the marketing course being that good. And the uni offered me a scholarship. So plus being close to London was something that was very important. Additionally, I think this town's weather is very nice as compared to the rest of the country because it has some of the beach as well, and sometimes it's cooler and hotter. It's a mix, but
yeah, there's a misconception that Southampton does not have a beach. Go about half an hour, 40 minutes down. There is a beach, I promise you.
Yeah, there is. There are good places to hang out around the water.
Yeah.
So.
One thing I would say was I was looking at a place which would be commutable distances to all of these hot spots. Like, for example, when it comes to London, there have been so many instances every single month where I would have to commute to London for like a stint or a job or my future job, which is going to be in London, or for an internship, things like that. And to be in commutable distance takes off a huge worry of, potentially having to move to London and paying that rent. So from a future point, I know we've kind of sidelined from your question, but maybe that helps to know.
Yeah, it adds on to the whole why Southampton.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
We often hear as a member of staff about why students decide to choose the city as well as the course. Mm-hmm. And I think, being a native to Southampton or what you will, you've got to the west, you've got the New Forest, you've got beautiful national park. To the east, you've got London, which is easily commutable. To the south, you've got the sea, and you're in one of the UK's top 10, cheapest uni cities. So you've got sort of all those benefits at not London prices, as you suggested. So it's great to sort of highlight the positive things about the city as well as the course and the university as well.
Agreed.
Definitely.
One thing I want to ask, my parents were quite worried about me moving here and everything. Did you all have a similar experience?
Yeah. I mean, growing up, living in the same house until you're out of school and, they were worried, of course. That's why they didn't let me go for undergrad. You're lucky.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, of course, looking at the safety rates and all the numbers and statistics and this and that, Southampton was an easy choice because I applied to quite a few unis and I got in, I think, almost all of them except one, and this one, given its status as the student city, it was a little bit okayish, and the fact that it was closer to London was relief for them because if they were to fly in, then
exactly,
it's still fine.
That was one thing that I wanted to point out. So I'm an only child, and I was actually going to go to uni in Bombay. That was set in stone. I was fine with it. I was going to choose a film career, and then one day my dad said, "But we send you abroad." He put I think it was a stone to the heart when he said that, but he wanted me to really see the outside world in some way. So I did actually apply for a film program in Canada. And I got accepted, and that was set in stone. And then I think Southampton came on my feet or something. And then the whole fiasco. And I think we were watching a London film. So a lot of my life clearly has been influenced by media, which is very close to what I'm doing right now. I mean, look at what I'm doing, right?
In terms of when you first arrived to the UK, what was the initial process like?
I mean, first of all, landing in London, the uni came to take us back to Southampton with the meet and greet program. So that was the first thing ever that I did. I mean, to be honest, to settle into the uni, it was not that difficult because pretty much everything was given to us or told that, this is how it will be. And I talked to many alumni and just had a brief overview of how it's going to be, what kind of food, what kind of places, how do you adjust to the weather, and, the clothes you need to bring and the food you need to bring and things like that. And I lived in a uni accommodation, and it was City Gateway, and City Gateway for the wins, by the way. It's the best. I mean, you have lived somewhere else. That's more of a postgrad residence. But yeah, I mean, I made friends for life there. I mean, I'm pretty sure kids are gonna fight when we have them. We are that close, and I'm sure that was because I lived in the uni accommodation, and to settle into the life here, it was a key. So
definitely. I mean, if there's one thing I would change about university, maybe would be picking a university accommodation in first year. I mean, first year undergrads are guaranteed, as far as I remember, for a spot in the university accommodation, and it kind of makes your life a lot easier. I made the mistake of not choosing that because I had a cheaper accommodation choice, which I still love my accommodation choice in first year. Would I choose differently? Maybe in different years? Yes, I would. But procedure-wise, I think one big thing that's important to note is when we come here as international students, there's a need for a community, right? When we find that community early on before even coming over here, which is what me and Adit both had. We were both in like group chats and online WhatsApp communities, which helped to know because some people had already been to the UK. They were talking about, oh, don't forget to bring a puffer jacket, or don't forget to bring this kind of vessel. So I feel like we really had that advantage because there was help that was received from the university, from the local folks. And then there was help that was received from the people that were just like us, experiencing the same thing but different timelines. So that definitely helped, and I would hugely recommend any international or incoming international students to try to find these communities. They're out there. It just requires a Google
And now
search.
we also have the app where you can talk to ambassadors who are currently studying, and we talk to them and they can ask us any questions, and sometimes
Absolutely.
it's just like a WhatsApp text, just text us and we'll get back to you.
That's really helpful because, like, going back to your previous question with the parents and the family,
Yeah.
I mean that gives them a bit of a peace because they hear from people who have been here, the people who are living here, and they know what kinds of things we are to expect. So that also calms them down, and that gives you a lot of information and how do you have to navigate through the first few days when you're moving continents, probably for the first time.
Wherever you're moving to Southampton from, it's about sort of, moving to another country, wherever you decide to study is always a daunting but exciting experience. It's, again, tapping into those sort of social communities, but also tapping into what the university offers. As you mentioned, we got the sort of the chat app that you can do to engage with, to connect with other Indian students. But there's also the meet and greet service that you mentioned that will, pick you up from London, Heathrow or Gatwick and take you to your halls of residence if you choose to use it. And then there's the sort of induction and welcome weeks that the university puts on, and they're all put on predominantly to make students who are joining us from all over the globe feel comfortable. I always say it's a week before your studies start to do a bit of life admin, to register for a bank account, go meet some friends, go walk around the city and see where you're going to call home for a few years. So yeah, it's nice.
True.
It's nice to use that time to settle into your new life.
Definitely. To add on to the meet and greet point that you mentioned, that's where I met a few people before coming to the UK. And those people I'm still in contact with because it somehow turned out that some of them ended up in my course, some of them ended up in my accommodation. So I'm still in touch with many of them actually.
Likewise. I mean, one of my really good friends, he happened to be, out of complete coincidence, living right above me, and he's in the same course in the same year. And it was complete coincidence, but yeah, definitely agree with his point over there.
Yeah, I made my best friends on the first day of uni at a random, the induction week. We were all lost trying to get threads for one of the activities that were happening. And we all wanted the same color, and there was one role of it. And now we're the best of friends.
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
the way to meet.
And I think that's it. Like when you're traveling across the world and that flight out when you're leaving your family and going across the UK, again, as I said, it can be daunting. The minute you get there, everybody's in the same boat. Everyone's in the same
Exactly.
position. Everyone's excited, nervous, and just looking to make friends. So it's an environment conducive to that. So if you put yourselves out there and as you guys have,
Yeah.
it's great to hear and see that you've made friends that you'll keep throughout your university experience and beyond. So really nice.
And you're forced to put yourself out there, because realistically that might just be the last opportunity where you are really in the same boat as anybody. Because after you graduate, you're out in the corporate world, or you're out and it becomes a task to find those friends, to find that community. Here, there's the welcome week, the meet and greet service, the accommodation, all of that, just to help you do so.
Yeah, and putting yourself out there is very important. I mean, I understand and respect the fact that people have different personalities, but if you are choosing to move to a different country and you're choosing to make a life for yourself somewhere out of your comfort zones, and you kind of have to push yourself to, get those opportunities, because you have to ask for what you want.
Absolutely.
If you want something, you have to go after it. And I think if you put yourself out there, if you get out of that comfort zone, it works well. It works fantastically, I think.
Definitely, because I feel like at this point, I was someone who never spoke to someone. And being here right now, September me wouldn't believe everything I've done so far. So moving on from that, Tom, can we talk about the application process in terms of the visa, the language support we offer?
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to get your guys' experience on, when you joined us as well and how you felt and found it really. But we got a great in-country team, and I think they're the first port of call if you're out and looking to consider Southampton, that you can meet one of our Indian-based team who are brilliant and are able to help you really from inquiry all the way to joining us. But I think I mentioned earlier about tapping into the support the university offers. Quite often hear from students that sometimes arrive and they think, oh, I didn't know about that. And it's actually our job to make that more obvious so that they're aware. But there's so much support there from the moment you choose a course, want to know more about the city, want to find out more about the campus or careers. It's just about being aware of that and accessing it. And don't be afraid to ask the university questions, or don't feel that will lessen your chance of getting into the university. We're there to support and advise. So there's obviously the application, and it differs slightly for undergraduate and master's postgraduate students, but the application process, and then getting that unconditional offer. And then from really when you get that unconditional offer, be that through paying your deposit as a postgrad or getting your grades through UCAS, from when you get that unconditional offer, then we start communicating either through the Southampton app or through email. So important to check emails, but we'll send you out your halls of residence pack for accommodation, but we'll also, explain what else is needed for your offer if you're not quite there with it. This could be one of the many language tests that you can take as well to just prove that your proficiency in English is adequate for the course you're taking. And really that support doesn't stop when you get to Southampton. In fact, there's more support available. So, we've touched on the meet and greet, but there's also the Student Hub, which is our 24/7 round the clock service for students that can get advice on visas or get advice on, even if they feel homesick or finding that additional support. So really, yeah, it's our job as the international team and the job is here at the university as staff to make sure that students have that, have everything they need, really. So if you're there thinking, oh, the process looks, quite extensive, how am I going to apply for a visa? Well, our visas team will email you and have regular webinars and sessions where they can help you as well. And first point is to get that CAS, that confirmation of acceptance to study, that follows a visa. It all just slots into place. And quite often we see students somewhat daunted by the first time of doing it, but it's everyone's first time of doing it. So yeah, we have this each year, so it's our job to really make sure that they have everything they need there.
Well, Tom, I'm happy that you talked about, the language tests, and I feel like it's important to note, and maybe gives me also a lot of information, but how do you given that, and examinations in India and for international students are so broad, how does the examinations for English language requirements, how are they categorized?
Language tests are on a case-by-case basis with a lot of students, because language is there to test your proficiency in English for your course. So it differs by course, it differs by level of study, it differs by background. So if you've got a certain grade in English, as part of your studies in India, you might not need it. If you're taught and assessed in English, you might not need it.
That's what I'm asking, because if is it communicated via the UCAS or something like that, okay, you need to have an IELTS before you accept the conditional offer?
Yeah, so undergrad level, as part of your conditional offer, it should say, achieving your academic grades, but also achieving your English language grades. On postgraduate level, it should be clearer because it's done through the portal, whereas we would say your offer is conditional on you getting your deposit and providing English grades. But it's so intricate to talk about language because it's so it differs so much from student to student. There's broad English language entry requirements for courses, but again, someone studying something versus someone studying elsewhere and at a different level, it's hard to sort of broadly speak about it. But they are. Some people get daunted by the language test, but it is purely to just test that you're able to succeed and excel in the course when you get here. It's not to put an additional, barrier to you actually coming here. It's just to say, when you get here, you're going to be comfortable learning what you're learning or studying what you're studying, and the fact that you're English in speaking, reading, listening, or writing is adequate for the course.
I think it's a good thing to have, because if somebody is not that proficient because of the test, they're going to study because they want to come here and they're going to study for the test. So it helps their own skill set. So I think it's a good thing that you have those tests. I mean, I understand not everybody loves taking tests, and one of them, I don't like it.
I'm a coursework person.
But you learn with it and you upgrade yourself. When I decided and I accepted my unconditional offer, I think I had gotten a few emails and about the point that you should look at your emails. It's very important. I was told that as well. And I think they had some online sessions as well where I got to just see some new faces from the uni, and they talked about how it's going to go. And it was very comfortable. I don't think I had to fight to find any kind of information. It was pretty much easy to find it. So I think that's a good job on the uni's part. It's all visible to everyone.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially as an international student, I'm sure it's really daunting, and having those questions answered is just as important. I remember back when I was applying, I applied through IDP, an agent which is very popular in India, and through the UCAS. And yes, there was communication via the university, but there's also communication that university does not just via the portals, but also through something like the student room. And I think that really came handy, to be honest, as an undergraduate student that has never had any kind of university exposure whatsoever. So going all the way to UK, for me, definitely those questions answered was important.
Yeah, it's a really good point about touching on some of the partners or agents that we work with in India as well. We've got a really extensive network of, recognised university partners that are there to support that application process as well. So it's not like you're speaking to somebody based in England and you're there fretting and, it's late at night in India and no one's responding to you. Our agents and our partners out there are there to help you as well and guide you.
And they're really, really kind. And when they help you, they don't I had random, some of the questions, now that I think about it, was so stupid. But they were so, so kind. And, they would just hop on to a call and be like, it's fine, you need to calm down. It's going to happen. You're going to get the gas. It's fine. Or there was a small spelling error. Oh, it's fine. They'll do it. They'll realize they'll do it. And it happened so fast. But now that in that moment, I was like, okay, everything's going so slow. But now that I think about it, everything got done so quickly and so smoothly.
Right, because I'm glad you mentioned, how we thought everything was going so slow, everything's going so fast. The big thing about India's and UK's working culture is, because of the time difference, there was always an expectation, okay, if I've gotten a question right now and I'll get an answer, say 1 or 2 days, that was a whole intimidating or like the daunting fact. But at the end, it is important for us to understand, especially as an international student, that it's all going to tie in together. We're going to be just fine. And there's enough support and there's enough people to answer our specific questions, whether that is about our backpack or the suitcase that we've got to bring over here. Even the most random ones, there will be someone who has been exactly in your shoes. So they know exactly why those are not stupid questions.
Yeah, the pro tip is just to have some patience
Absolutely.
and be optimistic, and everything works out.
Moving on, can we talk about the courses that we do and what opportunities it has gotten you?
I did my master's in marketing management and I graduated in 2024. And I would like to highlight one specific module of it because that was, I think, very important and very useful for me. That was the marketing practice-based dissertation. It was an alternative option to your regular dissertation wherein you get to work with a real company and, you're put into teams and you solve the problem and tackle how you have to work in the industry after you graduate. So that was a very important part of my course. Other than that, the opportunities that I got, because marketing was a part of the business school had many opportunities. For example, I took part in student innovation projects. I took part in student innovation challenges. And I mean, they were just so important to, I increased my skill set in terms of, all the soft skills and, how to handle people and how to work with that one difficult member of the group and how, you be the leader, but you are in a team and, all of those things. I'd like to share a little bit of story. A student innovation project I did with this one company, and it turned out so good that the company actually took up our solution and they even did a press release. And from what I've told, that it was the first press release or something that they got. So that gave me so much confidence as well, succeeding at something like that. It was a 4-week long thing. And to add to that, just in June, I am hosting a student innovation project for the Delhi campus. Yeah, I've given out a brief via my company, and we are going to help students how to navigate through the process, the project, and learn so many things from it. And adding to the next opportunity, that was the innovation challenges. It was a 4-day intensive challenge, and my team and I won the Boeing challenge that we had, and it was mind-blowing. It was, you get to network with the management of the companies that come in with their projects. You get to meet new people, you get to work on new things, you learn so many things. I mean, because of that, then I was given the chance to be the mentor and judge for the next innovation challenge with Shell. So I mean, how you just start small, you never say no to things, and you take opportunities that you get, and they give you so many things at the end. You just stay focused and do what you like.
I agree.
Yeah.
For me, and this is specifically for BSc marketing, during these 3 years, I have so much love and respect for my tutors and for the faculty that does the marketing course, because they've given me so many opportunities. One good thing about marketing in particular, and the modules, is there's a level of flexibility you're given in the terms of creativity and the topics you can choose. So for instance, my dissertation is on social media marketing for concert goers, because I like going out to concerts and I made it all about that. But there was a sense of flexibility and there was a sense of collaboration amongst your supervisors. Along with this, the rest of the modules, so many of them I was doing for the very first time. For instance, I did marketing analytics for the first time. I hated numbers. I hated softwares. But I ended up really liking it, because that is probably one of the only marketing modules where if question says A and answer is A, that is it. There is no here and there for it. And look, I'm doing a marketing analytics job full time now. So it's introduced me to a completely new realm through this course, and it's gotten me somewhere exactly where I wanted to be. Apart from that, I would say, given your question is about courses and its particular modules and its opportunities, 2 of my modules, actually, one of them particularly being digital marketing, we had a guest lecturer for one of our modules, for one of our classes, and I ended up going right after the lecture introducing myself, and hey, I got an internship right at the same company 1 month later because of that one high. So I do think a huge benefit of being connected with your module leaders and them having these industry contacts can change your life.
To add on to that, I mentioned student relation projects, right? So one of my friends did one of those. After she got done with the project, they liked her so much that they asked her to join them full time after she was done with her course. And the best part is they were looking to expand their marketing department. I swooped in. She gave me a referral. I went in, I took an interview. Halfway through the interview, I had the job. I mean, these are the opportunities that that you get, and adding to the modules bit. I mean, like she said about marketing analytics, I chose marketing because it was about storytelling for me. It's about, picking that one point of maybe a product, a service, or anything, to be honest, and just talking about it and getting it to the consumers or audience or people. Talking about the modules, I had these few modules in which I had to write answers. They were pages long, not like ones where you just tick an A or B or C. And me loving storytelling, I made stories in those answers. I made sure that I'm answering the question. I am picking and giving them what they want and building a whole story about it. I mean, there was this one module in which I can't bring the question back to my mind, but then I wrote a story about Bollywood, the film industry of Mumbai and India. I wrote about some characters in that, and I made up a whole story, and this is how this marketing strategy would work well, and this and that. I mean, that opened me up to being more creative with, things, with problems, and solutions. So, I mean, that is what the course and the opportunities taught me, really. That was really nice.
I think again, you guys have touched on really good, experiences, and that's what Southampton is about. Really, it's the knowledge transfer. So it's not, in research intensive or research heavy universities, you often get world leading, world class, world quality research. It happens over one side of the university, and you get the learning that happens on the other side of the university. And it's all about, and here at Southampton, it's all about merging those two things together, and that could be through gaining, sort of working alongside those professors and those academics that are doing real meaningful, world-changing research and sort of being involved in that. And then sort of opening doors to career pathways for you guys as students as well, so that you can go on and study either alongside your, work alongside your studies, or can, explore options for your career post-study too, under the post-study work visa. So I think having those global connections and networks across the university, and as a student being willing and open to tapping into them, again, it just opens those doors and opportunities for you.
Even though our degrees are so different, and even with what Tom said, I feel like we've had such similar experiences, because irrespective of what you study, you have everything that's hands-on. It's not just theory-based, because I assume my degree would be completely theory-based. I had and do have some amount of creative freedom in studying chemistry. And even with my dissertation project, like, even though it's in part with the uni, it's a lot. I got to choose a topic where I can talk about AI, but from my perspective. So the option to have it from my perspective and not just a theoretical perspective was a good option. And even when it comes to modules and how the professors approach all of it, I feel like it is preparing me in some sort of way, more than I had expected. So were your experiences the same? Like, do you feel your modules set you up career-wise?
Absolutely.
I think there were some things that I, even till date, when I'm trying to solve a problem or some issue at my job, I sometimes still go back and, have a quick look at what did they teach us and what was the theory behind this. I mean, obviously, it's completely up to us on how to put it to practice, but there's some theory. There's a lot of guidance in those books. And I think just going off the track a little bit, talking about opportunities and internships and everything like that, I think the uni's career portal, they have those they have many of those opportunities. Like the innovation projects and challenges were from them. I even applied for an internship through them, and I did get it. And I worked with a non-profit based in Portsmouth. So to be honest, there are many opportunities. They're everywhere. You just need to look. You need to be open, and
Yeah.
you need to go for it. Take
I
that leap.
agree. I'm really glad that you asked a question about, how applicable are the theories that you really are being taught. One good thing is, and maybe this is specifically for marketing, but it's our professors have never really shied away from the realities of what is coming in the corporate world. So if AI came into picture, sure, there is the assignment brief that says, plagiarism errors and all of that, but there is also a compulsion to use AI in a certain way, to use it creatively, because realistically, that is what you're going to be doing in your corporate world. And that is exactly what I talk about. That is how I've really secured the full-time job that I have, because I was my first point of almost every single interview. So I'm very glad that you have asked the question about the kind of the opportunity look back at my modules.
Getting back to how you were talking about starting Career Advantage, and it's a huge initiative by the university, and it's aimed to enable and support Indian students when they're applying specifically for their careers, and how it will benefit us Indian students.
Like, Tom, you're the best person to
Yeah.
speak about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great helping launch Career Advantage across the university, and we've got a very bespoke and specific program for Indian students known as Career Advantage India. And it really is to take all the career support that we've touched on today and embed it as part of the degree program and the whole offering that Southampton gives. And we're really proud and excited about it in its first year, this cycle. So it's making sure that students don't have to go around digging and hunting and finding, the My Careers portals and stuff, and it's putting that all together into a bespoke offering. So it really begins before you start. So as an offer holder, you can tap into Career Ready Plus, which will be a range of online content that will gear you up and get you ready for your career. And then during your 3 years as an undergrad, or one year as a postgrad and beyond, you can access a sort of a plethora of resources online and both in person that can help to support you. And that this can include e-mentoring when we connect you with a member of our alumni community or those that are working in the field, or just connecting you to some of our sort of extensive online resources and training as well. So the whole idea is that students don't get to university and then feel that they've got to go looking around for careers whilst they're also integrating socially and integrating academically. Is to say that, as part of your course and as part of your time in Southampton, Career Advantage India is part of that right from even before day one, before you even arrive. You've got all these resources at your fingertips so that when you come out of your degree, you're ready to succeed and excel. And then it goes beyond your studies. So up to 5 years after your studies, you can tap into to Career Advantage India. So if you're a student's return to India, or you're still in the UK and you just want an extra bit of advice, or you want to brush up your CV or resume, the university's still there to support you. So it's really exciting. It is about making the careers offering, again, putting it at the forefront of what we do as a university. And it's been great sort of launching it alongside colleagues across India as well, and seeing how students have taken to it, because again, we feel we're one of the first universities to really do that. And we hope that any students concerned with, will I get a career, or what support will I get for my career if I go to the University of Southampton in the UK, it will sort of calm those concerns and queries. And certainly the conversations we've had today with you guys about where you're working and what you're doing, it helps and supports that. So it's really great to see, you taking advantage of what's already on offer, and hopefully the new initiatives such as Career Advantage India will make that more accessible to the majority, if not all, of our students.
I'm glad that the uni is pioneering with this, because the University of Southampton is the first uni to open up in India as well. Open up a campus there, and this is something we are doing first before any other universities. That's fantastic. It's going to help a lot. I wanted to touch back on the last question about course modules and faculties and, all of that. I had this one professor. He was teaching introduction to marketing. They were teaching so that people who are changing from after their undergrad, if they want to make the shift to marketing in their postgrad. So that was the course, that was the step line. They would learn basics and introduction to the world of marketing. But me doing my undergrad in the business field, and I had learned a lot of marketing. So that course module was somewhat repetitive for me. But that was the class that I attended the most because that was the best class to attend, the best class to sit in. The professor would make us have fun. I think he was not the only one, of course, but I mean, can you imagine as a postgrad student, you are looking forward to attend a class?
Well, we had
That's
Legos
unheard
in
of.
one class. I remember we had a module called marketing research, and one whole class was dedicated on collaboratively making Legos. And I can't quite remember because it's been a while, but the findings of what we created had to be brought into some task, and that had to be included in our assignment. But it was a fun day, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we would talk about literally everything. The IPL cricket teams, or British weather, Middle Eastern food, anything. I mean, he would pick up anything from the world and make everybody feel welcome, and he would just make a lesson out of it. I mean, there are many professors like that. I mean, I could name a few, and that's what the uni has to offer. I mean, the business school has some amazing,
I agree.
professors.
Not once have I felt like I don't belong here, or I felt like I've been pushed away. It's always just felt like everyone, like even in my course, all 5 of us come from 5 different continents, 5 different backgrounds. And it's just the 5 of us together with studying the same thing, but
Yeah.
not in any way made to feel like we're different from each other.
Yeah, my course had about 270 students, and
Really?
yeah, it was a huge one. It was divided into 2 parts, and there were people from everywhere. I mean, somebody would be a majority, somebody would be from somewhere there are many students from, or some are from, some would be just individuals from their own country. But the way, I mean, people hung out, it was all good. I remember this one time in the first few months or weeks or something, the course representative elections were up, and you could apply for it, and I did, and there were just 11 Indians in my class, and all the others were from everywhere else, and it was a task to get through to them to vote for me, because even my pitch was it had to relate to them. They needed to understand that, and I made a campaign team, and I had people from everywhere around the world, and it just made it so much easier because the students helped. There were students in my class who would just, like I said, my course was too big, so it was divided into two batches, and some friends would just go and shout in the other class, and they would put up my posters and vote for him and this and that. I mean, the way that everyone just came together, irrespective of their individual backgrounds in that process, that taught me so many things, because I was so sure that I was not going to win this election, because I mean, I needed to relate to them. I needed to make sure that they want me to represent them and things like that. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the magic of.
I'm sure once you were done with the entire representative tasks as well, you probably didn't even realize what kind of impact you made. Who did you make that impact on? Because it's all kind of like up in the air, right? That's happened with me, at least. When I was course rep for my course back in second year, I think I just did it because I wanted something on my CV. And then that became something that I wanted. The intention became I wanted to have a relationship with my professors, and that became I wanted to have a relationship with my course mates, and I ended up winning the academic awards that they have for all the course reps, which I was not at the very least expecting at all. But I would say, even if it's just when you go into something and you say yes to something just to have something on your CV, that's going to make such an impact in your life. So if there's one thing that we're all going to take from this podcast, is saying yes helps.
Yeah.
Say yes to everything.
So, talking about any pre-arrival anxieties that you might have had what were your experiences before you got here, when you got here?
I think the biggest thing for an Indian coming over overseas here is the food. Uh, the, I mean, everybody is accustomed to different kind of food in India as well, but coming to a food that is definitely not your comfort zone can be, that can make people anxious, and it can be a problem because I think more about talking about food. What I did was I learned everything. I learned how to cook because I know that growing up in India, you generally have people who are going to help you with it. So you don't necessarily know how to cook anybody. But I learned all of it, and that was the hit. That was a hit because in my accommodation, everybody loved what I made, and we had parties where I was making food in huge batches. So that anxiety quickly settled down after I, found out that you get everything that you need. That you need to make the food that you like, and then just settle into it. And also, I just kept a little bit of an open mind with trying new cuisines. I mean, the ones that I hadn't already tried, the different ones, the new foods that you should be open to. You should try everything because you never know what you will like. And that helped me. I really love Italian now. I like Greek food. I like some things from the British palate as well. And I grew up with the proper Indian food.
I'm the complete opposite. So I may not have the same kind of pre-arrival anxieties when it comes to food, because for me, my mum used to make me sausages and salamis for breakfast. So I think the transition for me when it comes to food was fine. The weather, not so much. So I live very close to the equator, so the weather would always almost be 40, 30, which is crazy to think about now, given that we're all sweating in like 20-degree weather here in the UK. But for me, that was definitely a pre-arrival anxiety. I came in here with just a grey overcoat from M&S, and I thought that was going to be enough. Boy, was I wrong. I got myself a puffer jacket. That was also a friend's day out trip, I remember. And I mean, the weather really isn't one thing you can really prepare for, right? You kind of become accustomed to it as time passes. But I guess, if there's something that international students take from this podcast is the clothes over here are made for the kind of weather. So you don't have to be too worried about the shivers. You might have them, definitely, but you're going to be just fine nonetheless.
It was completely opposite for me with the weather point of view. I mean, I do not like heat. I do not like sun.
Yeah, I agree. I cannot handle it. The cold I can handle, but the heat, I am melting.
Yeah, I was so happy that I'm coming to a weather that's gonna give me more calm and cool rather than heat and sun. Yeah.
It's stormy half the time. What are you doing?
I love rain, so that's all fine for me.
Exactly. I love the monsoons, and I was like, oh my God, perpetual monsoons.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you walk out,
there.
it's sunny. You walk out, it's raining. So
you like the uncertainty.
I like it. Yeah, I do.
You can tell you're all integrated very well because it's a very British tradition pastime to talk about the weather.
Yeah.
It is.
When it came to your accommodation, did you all struggle a lot with it, or was it quite easy in terms of the process?
It was quite easy. I mean, like Tom said about the the accommodation packages and things like that you get from the uni when you accept the offer. I did, and I had some options, and I picked my favorites, and it was quite easy. I mean, I got one. There was everything sorted for us. It was very easy. I mean, I don't think I had any kind of issue with my accommodation from day one.
I mean, I'm hoping this would be helpful. I didn't do university accommodation. I didn't pick it for my first year, but I moved into a private rented house with my friends for year 3 and year 2. And during this time, there have been multiple times where I've had to, contact the university's welfare office, and they often really help with the SUSU. Really helps with things like housing advice, if you've got any questions regarding bills, what if you're getting overcharged. So linking back to the whole there's no stupid question, that still applies throughout your university. I mean, I remember I had to contact them to ask if our water bill was getting charged more than our stipulated amount. So there is still support, even though you're in university halls, or if you're, in a different accommodation, it consistently stays.
Yeah, I agree. I do live in private halls, but it's not as similar to living in a flat. But every time I've had a question, I have asked them, and I did kind of get overcharged, which it was really good to know that I was getting
Exactly.
overcharged. So
So
that's
you-
a good thing to know.
I think the only bad thing about my accommodation was me having to leave it, and then moving into a house by yourself and getting out of all the luxuries that it provided, because I could just focus on my studies, extracurriculars, and everything. I didn't have to worry about if the door is breaking, if the sink's not working. It's all sorted within few minutes, an hour, a day max.
Yeah, it helps to know that, you had free laundry, free bus pass, 24/7 reception. We didn't have that during my private accommodation when I chose private accommodation first year, which is why I said maybe if there was a decision I could change, it would be this. But I think, yeah, I mean, I'm graduating university in a month. One thing I'm probably going to miss a lot is being able to live with my friends, however chaotic they are. I'm going to miss it, definitely.
I hang out a lot at Mayflower because my best friend lives there.
There we go.
And I've learned so many things. I spend more time there than I do in my own accommodation. But sometimes, it does get difficult, right? Handling your social life with academics. How do you balance that out?
Well, to be honest, I had it pretty easy. And it's purely out of luck, I would say. And this applies to no matter if you're a student or not. I followed the 8-into-3 rule. So 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work, 8 hours for social life. That's what I used to do. Of course, during exams, during assignment time, that kind of fluctuates. But the way I would say one thing, I'm an extrovert, but I'm also a homebody. So I joined a society, a committee in second year just to force myself to go out, engage. So I think of it as work, but at the same time, it's like having a social life because you're working with your friends, you're producing a whole event and working in collaboration with so many different people to have fun, really, right? So,
And sorry. And to add on to that, I think the best way to stay, organized is I had this one aim that I want my Google Calendar to look as colorful as it
as
can.
colorful as it possibly can.
And I achieved it. I mean, if you go back to that 1 year of my Google Calendar, it is filled one after the other. I'm doing this, doing that. There's a class, there's a test, there's this. And that was my aim, to be very honest. I mean, coming in the country, I was thinking, how do I fill this? And I filled it, and everything just was organized. There was no problems. And I know I spoke a lot about extracurriculars and courses and academics, but I traveled a lot as well. I have covered a lot of the country in that 1 year as well. Because Southampton is closer to the southern part, I have explored all of it. I've traveled as much as I have attended concerts as much as I could. And all of this happened because I was planning my time. And
I agree.
I think that works the best.
Look, here's an example. Today morning, I went shopping for stuff we needed for like a barbecue social this evening. So it's kind of social, but at the same time, daily life work-ish. Now I'm working at the moment, and right after this, we're gonna have a barbecue social. So it's a good balance. And then right before I sleep, I reply to all my emails. So it's a structured balance, and I think it's something that you learn over time.
You're not talking about plans. I'm going to go visit City Gateway.
There we go.
Because, I mean, that was the first home in this country for me, and it was the best.
Touching on how you said going on trips and everything, the way Southampton is situated geographically, it's close to everything. Like, I've done so many day trips in the one day off I have during the week because it's cheaper to travel on the weekday. But also, if you just want to pop into London and come back,
exactly.
It's so close.
And I think on top of everything that's been mentioned already, it's using those. We talked about SUSU as the Southampton University Students' Union. It's using them. They're fantastic. There's so many different societies, and they're all often tailored to interests. So you're meeting people who have similar interests to you, whether that's music, whether that's sports, cheerleading, there's a Quidditch society, there's a whole range of things to suit what you want to do. And being involved in that community is really important to making your university experience more holistic in general. So I think, that's another part of the induction or welcome week that's really, really important for students to make the most of. There's loads of ways to stay physically fit whilst you're here as well. The university itself has got 3 sports centres, an on-site Jubilee Sports Centre, which is indoor sports based at Highfield. We've got Wide Lane Sports Ground, which is for outdoor sports, and the Water Sports Centre. One of the benefits of being by the sea or on the beach is to have a water sports centre that caters for our students' needs as well. So there's loads to get involved in. The societies again get involved in cultural events and cultural activities such as Holly Festival. So there's plenty for you to do outside of your studies, and I think some of the examples you guys have given is really great to see that students are embracing that as much as possible. Because I think when you're choosing, spoke to a student recently actually out in Indiana, it's about choosing. You're not just looking at the course and the university itself, but this is where you're going to be living and where you're going to be staying. This is going to be your experience. And as you said about City Gateway, this is your first taste of home away from home. So it's using all of those sides to the university as well. And on accommodation, obviously, everyone's very, very passionate about wherever they stay, and that's where they want, be it private accommodation, be that university accommodation. And I think Southampton as a city is really accessible. It's easy if you're a walker or you're a runner like myself. You like to get out and explore the city by foot. But there's also, the bus pass that you get as part of being staying in one of our halls, and you can get about by scooter or bicycle or what have you. There's lots available at your fingertips. So it's nice to see that our students are enjoying that too.
Yeah, I've traveled quite a few cities, and I've not seen many who have their uni bus, the network so good as Southampton does.
I agree.
I mean, just now when I came in Southampton this morning, I was so happy to look at the Unilink buses.
I know.
I mean, you travel to different cities and they don't have their uni of those cities buses that
I
much.
agree. I think it's a very organized. Well, to be honest, in first year it looked like a chaos for me because it was why are there so many different routes? But then once you're in there, once you're in Southampton for a while, you realize it's an organized chaos. Yeah. At least the bus systems, and a lot of different cities don't have that. So it's good to know Southampton does.
Yeah, and I think the Highfield interchange, which connects the buses to all over the city, is a good way of keeping Highfield at sort of the beating heart of the city itself. But there's plenty of other things, to do upon arrival. I always try and ask students to register for a doctor. We've got an on-site doctor's surgery literally on campus. Students often don't think of it when they first get here because they're excited, they want to meet friends, but actually you don't want to register for a doctor when you're already ill, or if you do get sick. You pay, as a international student, you pay the NHS health surcharge, so it's important to register for a doctor. This is me just with my sensible hat on now. Just making sure that students are aware of everything that they have to offer or on offer when they get to campus.
So let's just finish up with the top tips you have for those who are going to apply now.
Absolutely. I'm going to take this one up. I'm going to say this number one thing as an international. I know you're intimidated. I know you're scared. But yeah, I'm circling back to what I mentioned previously. Say yes to everything. It's not going to be scary. Once you're in there, you can always figure out a get out. But saying yes to everything helps. It helps build relationships for your academics, careers, and beyond.
My top tip would be make time for yourself and have fun, because everything can become daunting and it can become overwhelming at points. But make sure that the process that you are going through, you're living it. You're enjoying that 1 year or those 3 years or however many years you're going to do. Enjoy those, because that's college life. And once student life is over, you earn back. You want to live those years again, and that's the best time of your life. And I know it's a cliche, but I think it's true because I've experienced it. And just have fun. I mean, irrespective of whatever you have to do, make sure you make time to have fun and enjoy yourself in the process.
My one would be stay connected, stay informed. As I've said throughout this session, like there's so much available before you even join Southampton, and it's good to be aware of that and to be aware of this is what I can expect. This is what support I'll get. It's all there. You're not on your own. You've got loads of people around you that are going through the same experience. And you've got a team in Southampton, in India, before you arrive, that are there to support you. So stay curious and be informed.
And that is all we have time for on today's episode. Thank you, Adit, Tom, and Anusha, for joining us and really helping to build a picture of life at Southampton, living in the UK, and how it prepares you for your career. I hope our discussion today has helped some of you in just the smallest way with your journey to university. Good luck with everything this year brings, and we hope to see you at Southampton in the future.